A long time ago in a village, there lived two sisters named Binni and Biniang. Biniang was very kind and good-hearted, while Binni was a bit cunning and greedy. They both loved each other very much, but Binni always put herself first, whereas Biniang always prioritized her sister. One day, a terrifying demon named Halyang Miki came to their village. She was very scary, and everyone was afraid of her. She would come to the village and take someone away each time. That day, she came to Binni and Biniang's house. The sisters were very scared when Halyang Miki chose their house. Halyang Miki stood in front of their door and shouted, "Open the door! I am hungry, let me in!" The sisters were terrified and started making excuses to save themselves. They shouted to Halyang Miki, "We are feeding the pigs and collecting herbs for the goats, so we are busy now. Come another day, we can't open the door now." Halyang Miki, being clever, understood that the sisters were making excuses. After some time, Halyang Miki disguised herself as an old woman selling ginger and came to their door again. She said, "Listen, sisters, I have brought the freshest and best ginger from the village. Open the door and take it." The sisters knew it was Halyang Miki, so they refused to take the ginger and didn't open the door. This made Halyang Miki very angry. She thought, "I will teach them a lesson now." Then she turned herself into a ball of thread and entered the house through a hole under the stove. Once inside, she transformed back into her terrifying form. The sisters screamed when they saw her, but Halyang Miki caught them and took them to her home. Upon reaching home, Halyang Miki lit a fire and put the sisters in a large pot with water, planning to cook and eat them. Binni, being clever, quickly thought of a trick. She said to Biniang, "Do exactly as I say." Biniang nodded in agreement. When Halyang Miki put them in the pot, the sisters made bubbling sounds with the water, making Halyang Miki believe the water was boiling and the sisters were cooking. Halyang Miki was very happy and went inside to get a plate from the kitchen. As soon as Halyang Miki went to get the plate, the sisters climbed out of the pot. They saw Halyang Miki's child sleeping at the door. They put the child in the pot and ran away to save their lives. When Halyang Miki returned, she realized her child was cooking in the pot. She cried out in anger, "My child!" She was furious, took out her sword, and started chasing the sisters. The sisters kept running and climbed a tall tree to rest and escape from Halyang Miki. But Halyang Miki found them. She used magical words to make the tree fall towards her. "Tree, fall towards me," she chanted, pulling the tree towards her. Binni desperately prayed, "Tree, please fall the other way and save our lives." Miraculously, the tree fell in the opposite direction, allowing the sisters to safely run towards their village. As they ran, they saw an insect named Eliokoso working in the fields. They ran to her and told her their trouble. Binni and Biniang begged, "Please, Eliokoso, help us. A terrible demon is chasing us." Eliokoso, hearing their plea, agreed to help. She dug a big hole, hid the sisters underground, and covered them with soil. Eliokoso assured them, "Stay hidden here. I will protect you." When Halyang Miki reached the field, she asked Eliokoso, "Did you see two girls pass by?" Eliokoso shook her head and said, "No, I haven't seen anyone." Disappointed and frustrated, Halyang Miki left. When it was safe, Eliokoso brought the sisters out of their hiding spot. The sisters thanked her and continued towards their village. After walking a few miles, they saw a peach tree laden with juicy fruits. "These peaches look delicious. Let's eat," Binni said happily. Binni and Biniang were about to pick the fruits when they heard a voice. "Why are you stealing my fruits?" It was a snake. Binni and Biniang replied, "We are very hungry. We haven't eaten for days. Can we have some fruit?" The snake listened to them and said, "You can eat the fruits, but on one condition. Whoever eats the ripe fruit must marry my son. You both decide and let me know when I return." The snake left. Hearing this, the sisters were very scared, but at the same time, they were very hungry. Biniang, being wise, ate only the raw fruits, while Binni ate all the ripe fruits. When the snake returned, she saw that the fruits were eaten. One had eaten raw fruit, and the other had eaten ripe fruit. The snake asked, "Tell me, who ate the ripe fruit?" "The one who did must marry my son." Binni knew if she admitted to eating the ripe fruit, she would have to marry the snake's son. So she pointed to Biniang and said, "Biniang ate all the ripe fruits." Biniang loved her sister very much, so she took the blame. The snake said, "All right, Biniang will marry my son." The next day, Biniang was introduced to the snake's son. Biniang was very happy when she saw that the snake's son could take human form. During the day, he was a handsome human, and at night he turned back into a snake. Biniang and the snake's son lived happily together and loved each other very much. But seeing their happiness, Binni became jealous because she was left alone. So Binni decided to take her sister's place. One day, Binni told Biniang to come to the river to fetch water. In a sweet voice, she said, "Let's go fetch water together today." At the river, they chatted while filling their pots. While fetching water, Binni said to Biniang, "Your dress is so beautiful. Can I try it on once? I've always wanted to wear it." Biniang, being kind, agreed and said, "Sure, whatever is mine is yours." She gave her clothes and jewelry to her sister. Binni looked just like Biniang in her clothes. Then Binni cunningly said, "Biniang, you look so beautiful even in my clothes. Look at your reflection in the water." As soon as Biniang leaned over the river, Binni pushed her into the deep water. Before Biniang could think, the river swallowed her. After getting rid of Biniang, Binni took her place and lived with her sister's husband, the snake. One day, while Binni was preparing food for her husband, she heard a voice, "Don't touch my rice pot." It was Biniang, who had come in the form of a bird. When Binni went to lift the meat pot, the voice warned again, "Don't touch my meat pot." Every day, whenever Binni cooked, she heard this voice. It bothered her a lot, but she stayed quiet, afraid her truth would be revealed. Days passed and Binni lived peacefully with her husband. But her husband started to suspect something was wrong because her behavior had changed. "You seem different," he said, looking at her closely. To avoid his suspicious gaze, Binni said, "No, I'm just not feeling well lately." Her husband still felt something was off, but didn't think much about it. A few more days passed. Binni still wasn't fully happy. She wanted to see her husband always in his human form. One day her husband went to the forest in his human form, leaving his snakeskin at home. Binni burned the snakeskin because she wanted her husband always to remain human. When her husband returned from the forest, he realized his wife had burned his skin. He shouted angrily, "My skin! What have you done?" Binni explained, "I wanted to see you always in your human form." Upon hearing this, her husband understood why she seemed different. She wasn't Biniang, but her sister Binni. Biniang had no problem with her husband being a snake. Filled with sorrow and anger, her husband transformed back into a snake permanently and left Binni, going deep into the forest. From that day on, Binni was left very sad and lonely. Because of her greed, she ended up alone in the world with neither her husband nor her family. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new story.